All right. Wow, wow, wow. Let's go, baby. I'm also going to, let me refresh this. I want to see if they have an article that goes along with it. They do. Okay, so what I have realized I should probably do is we should read the article first and then watch the video. The reason for this is the article tends to be a little bit more in depth. And then the video adds like their personality, and you get to see like the devs talking about it and how they talk about it. So we're going to read the article first and then we watch the video. Mm-hmm. Because, hey, there's important information in there sometimes. There's important information sometimes. There's important information sometimes. Boo, are you booing articles? Articles are good. I mean, how long is it? It looks that long because the writing's big. It's not that long. Hey, Jimbei, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. All right. We're ready. We are ready to go. Wilds news. It just dropped. Literally just dropped. Literally. Okay. I'm ready. Ready to rock and roll, maybe. Big old advertisements. Holy. All right. This is a new Monster Hunter Wilds IGN first drop. This is Developers Talk Weapon Changes. Now, they did drop an article with a video, and I have made a new pact that we're going to read the article first, then watch the video. The reason is because the article normally has some extra details in it, and the video is just like a more overall kind of view of stuff. So we're going to read this first. Players prepare themselves each time a new Monster Hunter is released, wondering how their favorite weapon will feel in their hands in the upcoming game. Each of the 14 weapon types displays its own unique characteristics while still changing to fit the design of each new title. Monster Hunter World did away with the segmenting of each area during a quest, while Monster Hunter Rise is notable for its wire bug action. The weapons that feel at home in the hunter's hands show a new side of themselves in line with the game's design. So what kinds of concepts guided the tuning of each weapon in Monster Hunter Wilds, a game that aims to create a seamless hunter experience? So we're going to be talking to Kaname Fujioka, Wilds director, Tokuda Fujioka, of course. Fujioka was the director of the first Monster Hunter game. Tokuda has had a hand in the series since Freedom. Sponsored by Charmin Ultrasoft. Get your booty fresh and delicious for the new year. In the interview, we heard about the concept and development process for various weapons, garnering new details on weapons that players have been particularly interested in, as well as adjustments made for the release after the feedback. Okay, here we go. This is the good stuff, right? Tokuda, adjustments for a seamless world. Tokuda starts by saying that significant changes needed to be made to how a number of weapons are used due to major shifts in the gameplay loop, affected by WoW's seamless map and changing weather conditions. There are a number of large changes to the light and heavy bowgun as well as the bow, he says. Bow mentioned. While previous Monster Hunter titles featured a routine of returning to your base to replenish your resources after each... That's why they changed the bow. That's why we don't have to get ammo for coatings. Oh, it had nothing to do with like fundamentally changing the bow. It has to do with the fact that yo ass don't want to go back to camp and the store and getting shrooms and blah, 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 blah while you're out in the world. I get it. Returning to your base to replenish resources after each quest, Wilds aims to offer seamless play, making this process no longer required. Ranged weapons in Monster Hunter historically use consumable ammo and coatings, so there was a possibility that they would be more of a burden to use in Wilds without an established time to restock these items. That's why we designed it so that basic damage sources can be used without expending resources, says Tokuda. We balanced it around the idea that things like normal, pierce, and spread ammo for bow guns and coatings for bows can fire unlimited times while managing your gauge. But we still wanted it to be possible to use what you've prepared ahead of time or what you find in the field on top of that. And so our balancing took into account the presence of design that allows you to create powerful ammo with attributes from gathered materials. Hey, Leviticus, doing good. How are you? Yeah, I mean, so bow guns, if you want to do more management, I mean, I guess I can't say for sure if you have to craft pierce ammo or like paralysis coating, sorry, pierce coating or paralysis coating or blast coating. Like maybe you just don't have to craft the basic stuff. But I know for bow guns specifically, for sure, that they do have the more powerful ammo that you still have to craft. So if you do want to do a ranged weapon where you have some free stuff, but then you also have some stuff where you have to like craft and collect things, then bow gun's probably going to be a good choice. Sorry, my bottle whistles. It whistles. Okay. One change after the next was made to each of the weapons while considering the new elements found in Wilds and the game's concept, with ranged weapons changes being the most notable. Fujioka says that this goes beyond playstyle and mechanics, even stretching into design. We had the idea of wanting to properly show the movement of charging a bowgun for a special shot, he says. Shots that cancel out a monster's attack look properly convincing as they perform that canceling. Ever since the previous game in the series, we've put a lot of work into making it visually clear to the player what they're doing in the moment. We were live on Twitch a little bit earlier because I wasn't sure if a Wilds thing was going to drop. And I was like, we'll just turn it on. We'll just turn it on. We'll turn it on when the Wild stuff drops. I wish Wilds came with one wire bug. There's some weapons that retain more of their like rise playstyle than others. So maybe just need to look at different weapons that are maybe using similar kind of things. I haven't updated the counter yet, so it's not there. Nia, thank you for 25 months. Welcome back. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I need coffee, Lord. When an ad plays that I need to stop talking because an ad's playing, I'll go get coffee. He says that advances in technology increasing the ability to create such depictions also play a major role in these animation changes. Players can swing weapons, put them away, switch between them. Tokura says that adding more fine detail to the transitionary animations that connect each action changed even what hunters can do. One common concept shared by all weapons is that we made sure it's possible for hunters to use them in a natural way given the situation at the moment, he says. Our goal was to do this particularly when you can't make any inputs. For example, in previous games, you needed to stow your weapon and stop moving before using a healing item. The greater ability to depict actions through animations played a role in changing that. Fujioka continues. The focus mode that we added to Wilds is something we put a lot of work into when it comes to action. You can move while facing a specified direction, making continuous attacks possible while on the move, but slightly off-center from your target. Players can properly go in the direction they want. We wanted to make a game that made possible the image players have in their minds about how they want to play. No, G-Money, they dropped Wilds info, so we're doing that. It's up here. It's up here. We should be able to get around to it, I think, unless the video is crazy. Emergency announcement. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Llama, how you doing? So many people be freaky for the frog monster on Tumblr. It is Tumblr. That does make sense. That does check out. There have been incredible technical leaps for the development environment in recent years, such as in managing animations. And there have been even greater changes in how games themselves are played. For action games in particular, the question of how you meet the player's desires to play in a certain way in the moment they actively want to make a movement is an important one. During development, we're always conscious about not being left behind any changes in the times. Interesting. Alessandro, what's up? How you doing? Focus strikes. One major change in Wilds is the new system that allows you to wound a monster if you continuously attack a specific spot on its body. Whether or not a wound is formed is generally determined by the amount of damage dealt to that area. Some acts wound a monster more easily, such as attacks that use environmental elements like falling rocks or battles between monsters. Hey, Cosmic Angel, how are you doing? Yeah. Emergency announcement. When it comes to attacks from players' weapons, though, they generally form due to accumulated damage, which is why there aren't any differences between weapon types in this regard. You still have the difference in weapon types when it comes to like breaking horns or cutting tails. Those are like separate things. But when it comes to making wounds, you're all doing like the same thing. Hunters can deal massive damage to wounded monsters by using focus strikes while in focus mode. Completely different animations were prepared for each weapon type, such as acrobatically flying all around a monster with the dual blades, making it appear at first glance like there are differences in abilities here. So do different weapons have different focus strike effects aside from the visuals? Tokura gives us the answer. For focus strikes, we wanted to have animations that show each weapon's uniqueness, but I admit that this has also created a variation between weapons during the open beta test where some were far too strong, while feeling the strengths of others was difficult. Though we do allow differences between weapons in order to give them personality, we don't want the disparity between weapons to be too extreme, and so we're tuning them to be more standardized for the official release of the game. Bo is a perfect example of that. Hey, Snake! The wound system gives hunters a new option when hunting. For example, if you're attacking the head while using a hammer to flinch a monster, the accumulated damage can create a wound there. You're then able to deal a large amount of damage by then hitting it with a focus strike. But that wound will turn into a scar, meaning that you can no longer create a new head wound. Yeah, it's you. I don't know why I said yeah. You can, of course, continue to focus on the head, or you can target another body part that can be wounded. You know what? This is actually a decent reason for maybe switching weapons. Like if you're doing hammer and hammer is all about hitting the head, after you've created a wound and like knocked the monster over and broken horns or whatever, maybe you want to switch to like a slashing weapon and you switch to the tail, you know? Could be why. Voice of Tyranny, thank you so much. Thank you. Once players are in the latter half of the game, they will learn that there are ways to use environment that lead to unexpected scars. Tokura says that, like flinching and part breaking, the wound system acts as a new option for players where they may expect to create a wound on a monster by hitting it just one more time in a certain location. So I was changing my my heat. Very cold. There, she listened to me this time. Monsters are unwounded when a quest begins, but you can hunt monsters as you explore the locale in Wilds. So as the situation in the locale changes, monsters can have turf wars even without a hunter's involvement, he says. This means that a monster may already have multiple wounds by the time it interacts with the player. You can think yourself lucky and hunt a monster when it's in that state. There may also be special additional rewards for felling monsters wandering the locale. In some cases, there are even monsters that give gems as additional rewards. Look at that. Hey, Raven. Look at that. An additional reward monster pops up. A monster, the 7-star Balahara pops on the map, dropping a guaranteed gem. Dangerous, but rewarding. A high rank Balahara would be terrifying. In this game, the use of focus mode and wounds has made it easier than before to land dramatically damaging attacks, like the Great Sword's Charge Slash. So were changes made to monster health and toughness to go along with the addition of these features. It's not as if that was our intention from the start, but health did end up being a little bit higher than World once we thought about maintaining appropriate playtimes and player satisfaction compared to past titles. Elements like flinch resistance are also higher, but this doesn't mean that hunts will be tedious. Part of the purpose of focus mode is to allow players to feel more accomplished through shorter loops. We tried to design it so that the time they spend hunting is even more concentrated than before. Interesting. Hi, Obusa, what's up? Not for Cam, it just won't ever happen. You can imagine that tuning each of the 14 weapon types requires quite a lot of development work. We asked Tokuda if each weapon type had a dedicated director or designer. There are some staff members who oversee multiple weapon types, which ultimately makes for about 6 individual planners who are responsible for player experience. We don't just have game designers, of course. We include artists and animation designers to discuss details like what kinds of movements would be good and how that may mean a weapon could be better off used in a different way as we polish the weapons. We didn't have staff members assigned to weapons from the start. Their number grows as development progresses. We generally begin by developing the greatsword as a prototype, then verifying weapons like sword and shield and heavy bowgun, applying the knowledge we get from there to the other weapons as we create them. What time is it? We might just have to watch the video. We're running out of time. We might just have to watch the video. We'll watch the video and continue if we have time. That's what we should do. Okay. This is the video of the interview. It's just like 8 minutes and like, there's going to be so much stuff we don't see. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. But we'll watch the video. It's video time. So there was an article. This is the video for that article. This is Monster Hunter Wilds developers talk weapon changes, and they talk about the concept of weapons, creating weapons, and also feedback from the beta. So as always, because they are speaking Japanese, and of course there's a lot of people that are lurking, watching video stream, whatever, we are going to be reading it to you. I'm gonna read it to you. Also, there's an ad on Twitch, so I need to get my coffee. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 moment. Coffee. I have achieved my goal. Everyone was saying that Monster Hunter is getting too fast, Crunchy. So I think you might just be a Rise gamer. So you might end up just enjoying, you might enjoy more the portable series. So the game that comes out after Wilds is done, you might end up enjoying that more. Because, yeah, people have not been happy with how fast Monster Hunter is becoming. This is a cold brew. It's a cold brew espresso. Okay, let's do it. I thought we didn't have audio for a second. I was like, uh-oh. What's going on? We're being careful to maintain the good elements of past titles, while adding the positives we want to each weapon type, as well as change... Oh my great dear God. Okay, let's start again. Hunting Hornmains, what the motherfudging fudge? What the mother? Okay, we're going to pay attention to the interview. And then we're going to look at everything else, okay? Jesus Christ. All right. Okay. Okay. Good elements of past titles. While adding the positive we want to each weapon type, as well as changes we want to make or that would be better fit this game's concept. That's the approach we've taken to designing and tuning each weapon type. As for long-distance weapons like light bowguns, heavy bowguns, and bows, now that you're able to play continuously, that makes it harder to load into a different area and replenish your supplies like before. So we wanted to design basic damage sources to do damage without having to expend resources. So for things like normal, pierce, and spread ammo, along with your coatings, you'll only have to manage your gauge as you play. There's no limit so long as you have enough gauge. At the same time, we wanted players to still be able to prepare ahead of time or replenish supplies while on the field. We've kept things like being able to get elemental ammo from what you find, while changing some mechanics for the sake of balance for these weapons. In terms of feel, I think the hunting horn changed a lot. Like its echo bubbles. We've created a lot of new actions. We wanted to be able to properly depict bow guns and the way they need to be charged up to fire various shots. We put a good amount of work into creating parts that get put onto them as a way of expressing that. There's a lot of information in the gameplay. Those gimmicks are what make the action more convincing. We put quite a lot of effort into making clear what exactly a player is doing at any given moment. This goes for all weapons. But there are some actions that can be performed while riding a sacred. Actions that don't involve your weapon or actions you can perform while dismounting from a sacred. Connecting actions in new ways and directions is something we've been working on since World. With help from technology, we're switching to creating things like being able to move in a certain direction while stowing a weapon. One thing I think we're doing for the first time in this game is designing starting weapons for all 14 weapon types. Really? It's always been that you start with these truly primitive and simple weapons. But in this game, you play a chosen hunter. Oh, I see what they mean. I see what they mean. It didn't feel right for them to have such simple weapons. So we thought that a way of showing that you're someone who's been chosen would be the creation of properly designed weapons like these, the Hope weapons. In that sense, we've designed starting weapons for the first time. It seemed like something we should do given the game's story, too. The starting Hope series of weapons and armor is really cool. To the point where you could even imagine using it until the end. When we first made the Greatsword's Focus Strike, we had never made an attack where looking cool mattered more than performance. Having a chance to depict something like that thanks to this action was great for coming up with new ideas. It felt like if we could make that feel good, we could do more with other weapons too. We generally start with the Greatsword, as it's a weapon that can kind of do everything. So then, when we were able to give it that kind of a focus strike, this game's big selling point, it made us feel like we can do something even more interesting with other weapons. There aren't many other action games that have weapons with such heavy, slow tempo. That's why we use the Greatsword as the standard for Monster Hunter, making sure it's fun to use. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, like you wouldn't want to start with like dual blades and then you're creating monsters as you're creating, because you're obviously creating weapons and how they work alongside creating monsters and stuff. And so you're creating monsters to go along with dual blades, and you pull out the greatsword and you're like, oh, not very fun to hunt this guy with a greatsword. Pretty freaking annoying. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because you wouldn't want to create a monster that feels bad to hunt with any of the weapons, right? You wouldn't want it to be annoying. But it doesn't mean that monsters are slow, because monsters that can be really, really fast. It's just that you have to make sure that there's enough breaks in the monster's animations and attacks that a greatsword user can still not be pissed off and actually be able to use their moves. Part of the concept for the other weapon types is finding ways to differentiate them from the core weapon that is the greatsword. Oh, lordy. If we make a game that's fun to play with a weapon as heavy as the greatsword, that makes it easier to create weapons with a quicker tempo. But if we focus on fast weapons, that makes it hard to create slower ones. Hey TVH, how's it going? The game will keep speeding up if we match monsters to their tempo. I think that we end up with a game like... Wait, I just read that totally wrong. I think that we end up with a game with a Monster Hunter-like feel and tempo to its action by making sure that both sides are properly tuned with a weapon that has the greatsword speed, then figuring out the strengths of quicker weapons. A lot of important elements to Monster Hunter can be found in the greatsword. I think the design makes people feel that we care a lot about creating that feeling of weight. Yeah, I do notice that when you keep hit stopping and you don't take it out because of people. I don't know what people, but people. Thanks, TBH, the #1 source. This game's decoration system is similar to Worlds. Hold on! Okay, sorry. Let's see what they say first before... Decorations have specific skill abilities that are activated by placing them into weapon or armor slots. Yes, correct. But if it's a decoration with just one skill on it, you can create them through something like alchemy. You won't find yourself completely unable to get a specific skill in this game. That means... Oh, I almost passed out. That means that Mighty Bow won't take me 75 million years to get if Mighty Bow is in the game. Assuming that Mighty Bow is in the game. I'm assuming that Mighty Bow is in the game. If you are not a bow main or you have no idea about the bow, Mighty Bow is a skill that enables you to get one extra charge on your bow. So when you're pulling it back, it charges as charge, charge, charge. So not having access to like a whole charge of your bow is a huge, huge loss in damage. Huge, massive. So being able to get that skill is like the most important for bow. Like you need it. You have to have it in your build no matter what. You do not have a choice. So it's always been really tricky in World. You had to just get the decoration. Good luck. They eventually gave it to you like at the end of Iceborne or something. But you had to get really lucky to get it. In Rise, you had to do a bunch of arena quests to get really low level earrings. And then you could only wear those earrings for the rest of your life. You had yeah, you got stuck with these like low level earrings that you couldn't really level up very high because of that. Multi-skills on one decoration confirmed. Wait, how so? Did I miss it? Okay, we'll go back. We'll read this. If it's a decoration with just one skill on it, you can create them through something like alchemy. You won't find yourself completely unable to get a specific skill in this game. But for maximum slot efficiency, you want to get decorations with multiple skills. Aha! Aha! That is very well. You mentioned a thing that we hadn't watched yet. So, I mean, I think that's a really great middle ground. I think that's great. That way, using Mighty Bow as the example still, you can get access to Mighty Bow right away, but eventually you're going to want something that has Mighty Bow and something else. And you're going to have to get that through RNG. But you're not going to be entirely locked out of this very important skill for your build, which is great. I think that's great. That sounds great to me. Yeah, it's not pure RNG for the things that you like super duper 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 really need. You can get those and you will have them. You will have the access to that skill. And yeah, for the multi-skills, you just RNG. It will make the grind for getting that perfect thing a little bit better because you still get to use the skill on the way to using that perfect decoration, you know? I'm sure alchemy should, okay, yeah, true. We don't know how long it's gonna be until we can get access to alchemy. I would hope that this implies that you're getting it kind of early-ish. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. Maximum slot efficiency, you want to get decorations with multiple skills. Huge! So it won't be like World where you just can't get an Iron Wall jewel. Like this guy did. I got plenty, but I don't use Lance. I never ended up getting one. So we've added a system to respond to voices like his. Huge! The range of monsters you target narrows as you enter the endgame. Yeah, no, that's huge. That is huge. That's huge. Huge. That way you can still keep all the RNG grinding, all the RNG farming, trying to get your perfect stuff as much as you want in the game, but you're not like totally locking people out of potentially never getting a thing. That's good stuff. That's real good. That's real good. That's a healthy balance right there. That is a healthy balance of updating the game to where you're not just at the complete mercy of RNG, but if you want to have your min-max build, you want to be most efficient, then you do need to RNG it up. Love it. Love it. Perfect. Happy. The range of monsters you target narrows as you enter the end game. I think there is a case where usage of a certain weapon is likely to increase if it's better at dealing with those monsters. I think weapon types will tend to be used less if they're great against one monster but have trouble with another. But making it so that it's still easy to beat a monster with whatever weapon you're fixated on, without giving it some effort, will lessen the individuality of both that weapon and that monster. I don't want that to happen. We have made it so that it's possible to beat them with enough trial and error. So while there may be a trend towards weapons that offer it all, in terms of time efficiency, ease of use, and completion difficulty, I think that's just Monster Hunter. You are able to bring 2 weapon types, so even if you have somewhat specialized ones, it'd make me happy if players use 2 to complement each other. What's that about? You're giving me hints. I see what's going on there. I saw that. We're gonna see the switch axe monster in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's what I'm going with. Super cool, man. This was great. We are going to finish reading the article and see if there's anything like missing in there. But first, we need to take a look through the stuff that we saw in this video. Let's take a look. I'm going to take a look. It was right here. We're gonna slow it down. We're gonna slow it down. There's a couple things that it's doing. It's doing a couple things. I need to make sure I'm not reading too much into it. Yep, that's lightning, all right. That is lightning. That's the Raydal hunting horn. That's the Raydal hunting horn. I mean, so we'll let me pause it on a frame where you can see I mean, look at this. First of all, lightning effect looks freaking dope. But look at the handle. You can see that it looks like Raydal, right? It looks like Raydal's. The handle, you can see that it's you can see that it looks like Raydal. Like that is Raydal. That's the handle is Raydal. Wow. That looks crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, so a couple things we're noticing also on the UI. It has Echo Wave Thunder. So that also is just another confirmation of what it is. Wow. The Raydal hunting horn. It looks insane. That's crazy. Wow, that's crazy. Super cool. Looks incredible. Self-improvement, attack up small, fire resistance small, sonic waves, echo wave, thunder. Woo-wee! Okay, well, wow. That's our first Raydal anything that we've seen in terms of armor and stuff. We saw this before. This is the Duna heavy bowgun. We have seen that before. I will move my camera because we do get to see a little bit of ammo stuff. We'll go right here so we can see both. It's got congos. 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 It's got congos. Bongos. Congos. Yeah, this is the Duna one. It's got big flappy flaps on it. It's all flappy and flippy. Flappy and flippy. There's a lot of information in this video, actually. This is the metal bow, I believe. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we figured it out that it was the metal bow before. This is the Duna one. Not bow. Get a little look at ammo here. Get a little look at it. Normal, pierce, spread, cluster, water. What other gameplay was there? More Duna. This is just showing like the charge up animation of special things. This is Wyverian ignition. I read that. Wyvern counter ignition. Spread level 3, that's right. Yeah, it was spread level 3. Bowgun people are probably getting a lot out of this because you get to see quite a lot of stuff. This also. What greatsword is that? I don't think we've ever seen that before. I don't think we've seen it before. It is a Duna heavy bowgun. Yeah, I have a video on... Is that Rathan? It is Rathan? Oh, shit. Yeah. It's a little different, obviously, but yeah. A little different, but it sure is. That's the Rathian. That is the Rathian greatsword. Sure is. Look at that. Let's slow us down. I want to see it. I want to see it moving around. Wow. There's a lot of stuff in this video. There's a lot. There's a lot. That's the Rathian greatsword for sure. Let's go back and take a look at when they whip it out. What was he using before? Oh, wait, no, it's just slashing at things. Never mind. It's definitely the Rathian greatsword. It's got a little different thing around the hilt. It's got like the fleshy bits. It's got the fleshy bits. A little bit of fleshy used throughout it, but it basically looks the same. It has bandages in older games. It changes with upgrades. Very interesting. What kind of upgrade creates bandages? Sieglind. Oh yeah, there it is. Look at that. That is exactly the same. That's the same. There's also this, which is Monster Hunter 4. Monster Hunter 4. Very nice. Have you missed a lot? Yes. Of the Monster Hunter stuff, yeah. The upgrades remove the bandages. Okay. So we're saying that what this is like base Rathian greatsword? Well, we don't know how that's gonna work, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, cool. Older games didn't have the band. Well, what do you consider an older game? Because this is Monster Hunter. This is Monster Hunter 4. Monster Hunter World didn't have the bandages. Monster Hunter 1 to Freedom. Okay, that makes sense. Sweet, dude. We gotta look at the Ray Dow hunting horn, the Rathian greatsword. We got another look at the Uthduna heavy bowgun. It was kind of nice seeing it in different lighting, like this lighting. You could actually see it a little bit better in terms of the colors. World didn't have the greatsword. Well, then what is? Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Was there any other? There was a bit of dual blade gameplay. This one is just hope weapons because they were talking about making different weapons. This is the greatsword again. You get to see Rathian greatsword a little bit more. Sorry, my eyeball's itchy. Please hold. I mean, the greatsword looks fantastic. Fantastic. We got to see, this is Sword and Shield. That's the Balahara Sword and Shield, right? Actually, I don't know. It might not be. Poison from the greatsword attack. Oh, true. Hold. Important. Important that we note that down. Yep, there it is. There's the poof. There's the poof. Poof. Why'd you say that, Riker? Is it? I haven't looked at the map yet. We're looking at weapons at the moment. This is the Hope Bow still. Still Hope Bow. Hope. Hope. Still hope. There was, I think we got the dual blade, like, axes again. There we go. No, wait, nope, that's it's still Sworded Shield. There's that damn hunting horn again. Oh, Lord. That hunting horn is crazy. That hunting horn is insane. It's a shame that Enoledge isn't watching, like, new stuff because they'd lose their mind at this hunting horn. That's probably why they don't want to see it, though, to be honest. That's probably why. Because that hunting horn is crazy. There was definitely dual blades in here. I swear to God. I missed it. But it was one that we had seen before, so I'm not, like, too bent out of shape about it. Wow. Okay, well, this video was crazy. We're gonna make a video about a separate YouTube video about the information that we have gathered from this video because there's a lot. But yeah, wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy. Was there anything on the map? I don't think so, right? Because the reason it was on the map before is because they were going to show Gravios gameplay. I don't think they would do, like, the same thing again. I don't think they would. What's up, Dano? We could finish reading this article. I have to leave soon to play Assassin's Creed Shadows. Oh, hey, Enoledge. It looks very cool. That's all I'll say. It looks great. It looks like it's from right now. And that's what that's say. Yeah, it makes sense. Looks like it's from right now. There you go. So this is the article that goes along with the video if you are just joining us. Sometimes the article can give us a little bit of extra information that isn't in the video. So we're going to try and speed read this. Heavy bolt gun, knowledge, to work together, create action, access to focus strike, so now we have a new form of expression to us. We began by coming up with ideas while focusing on making it feel good over anything performance related, which we already heard. We can actually skip the... I can't stream it. I can't stream Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's why I'm rushing and I'm playing it at like a certain point. This one does. This one does what? Waystation. What? So yeah, I won't be able to stream Assassin's Creed Shadows unless I want to be sued. And you know, Ubisoft might be in the realm of suit. Okay, we gotta go fast. Great Sword Arms. Larger presence, development, experience. So I feel like weapons with a sense of heavy tempo, like or wearing other action gaze. We already heard that. That's the same. They say once you're in the game, you'll notice the great sword is the most rounded of them all. While the speed of weapons like this, sword and shield will start to great swords makes it easier to create weapons. We'll fight quicker tempo. High tempo weapons focus. But we heard that already. Every gun's his favorite weapon with strong feelings, and I think we heard this already. They're burning through money, yeah. So they can just sue me and take all my money. I ain't got no way to fight that. This is why I created aim to bring individuality, weapon, unique. Of course, it's a good thing to have weapons both easy and overpowered. So this weapon we made a lot of changes to for release. Oh, it's about the, yeah, we didn't hear about beta feedback in the video. There was no beta feedback listed in there. Yeah. We always think it's better to focus on how to design what makes a weapon unique rather than trying to make all weapons equally easy to use. We do think it's a problem if players can't have the gaming experience we want them to have. Of course, it's not a good thing to have a weapon that's both easy to use and overpowered, so there are weapons we made a lot of changes to. Using the example of the hunting horn, at the outset I told the team that I wanted the concept of this weapon to be that it can produce proper amounts of damage when used where it performs best, the area around you. Instead of being able to unleash one attack after the next, you can use something like an echo bubble to deal damage by controlling the area. Since we have this element of sound, what other weapons can't produce, that other weapons can't produce, how do we make use of that while outputting damage? That's the kind of thing we challenge ourselves to do with the weapon. Instead of thinking it's all about the damage, we care more about making the most out of each weapon's personality. 2 weapons. Beta. Powerful choice to buff yourself with the hunting horn before switching. We're tuning the release version, balancing with the end content in mind to make sure that the hunting horn isn't the only choice for a secondary weapon by having self buffs be worthwhile, but not too strong. They're balancing that. There are always going to be certain weapons that do better or worse against individual monsters. They also talked about that in the video. That's just Monster Hunter. Well, I think the weapons that stand on top of efficiency, ease of use, and ease of hunting are going to see more popularity. We've also made it so, yep, we heard that already too, even for somewhat specialized weapons. Players bought 2. Okay. Decoration system. Is there more info about the decoration system? Because I will lose it. Now we have a subject ability. It said long-range weapons and sword and shield, which says high adaptability. Okay. I got 1 minute and then I have to leave. I'm going to have to put this in a YouTube video. I'll make a YouTube video tonight with all of the information so you can just watch it. It's easy. Now that we're on the subject of builds, I decided to ask the duo about their favorite weapons. Tokuda says he often uses long-range weapons like heavy bowgun and light bowgun and the sword and shield, which has high adaptability to show monster actions and movesets because as the game's director, he needs to explain what's going on as he plays. He says that he'd like to take plenty of time after the release of WoWs to try out all the weapons now that hunters can carry 2. Meanwhile, fans are aware that Fujioka's favorite weapon is the lance. I'm a lance main, or rather, I only use the lance. I think that the lance is a weapon where positioning is very important as you stick to a monster's feet or some other part. Until now, you had to perform this kind of positioning by walking or sidestepping, but in WoWs, it's now a lot easier to make minor adjustments like shifting over as you attack. Largest reaction during the open beta. While the developers have already announced that major tweaks will be coming to a number of weapons, we received a lot of feedback during open beta tests, and to be honest, one of the largest reactions we got was that the lance isn't embodying its concept as a weapon. Our intention was for players to guard in a variety of ways, sticking to a monster as required and counterattacking, but there were a lot of actions that weren't working properly, such as it being hard to use and perform the right action at the right time, actions going off by mistake, actions coming out late, and so on. Surrounded by so many other actions that worked properly, it ended up feeling like a pretty dull weapon. We're now making major improvements to this for the release version, and we hope you look forward to it. Hey, Sparty. Oh, we're at the end. Even at the time of our interview, the WoW's creators were working tirelessly in order to give hunters the best time they can. They've heard what players had to tell them during the open beta, both as developers who've made Monster Hunter for many years now, and as hunters, they're coming face to face with the 14 weapon types to build the greatest gaming experience. Monster Hunter continues to be an unmatched action game, blah, blah, blah. We did it! We did it. Okay, so there's a little bit of like extra info about creating the hunting horn for Wilds and player feedback regarding the lance. But nothing too crazy. But I will add it to the video where we go over stuff that was in there. Guys, I gotta go play Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm sorry the stream was so short. I'm glad we got to watch this before I had to go, though. That's great. I will be back tomorrow really early. Really early, everybody. The Xbox showcase is at 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. Pacific. So we're going to be getting on a little bit before 10 a.m. Pacific, and we're going to be watching the Xbox showcase together. Oh, and then right after, I'm going to be able to show you guys my Assassin's Creed gameplay, and we can talk about it, because the embargo is literally tomorrow. Bad if you're trying to, like, put out a video about everything. If you're, like, a YouTuber and you got the day before embargo, that maybe sucks. But good for us, because we're just going to show the game. I'm just going to show it to you. I need to edit it down a little bit to make sure that I'm not breaking any rules, but yeah, we can just edit it. You can't just stream it, unfortunately. I will see you guys tomorrow bright and early. It'll be a long day tomorrow. I'll let you guys know how Assassin's Creed is. I'll let you know. I can't be late. I gotta go. Bye, friends. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll let you know if it's good. I'm not being paid, and I'm also not an Ubisoft insider, so you don't have to worry. I'm just playing it. Bye, everyone. Goodbye.